Show. Always Irish Show. Always Irish Show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison! I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing! Doing a damn thing! In a call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. No Irish. No Irish. No Irish. No Irish. Irish. Yeah. Right. The chat's off to the races on a Friday. I'm telling you, I love everything about this dynamic. It doesn't matter what my topic is. You guys are going to steer it before the show wherever you want it to go. It's amazing. I love these chats. I love the debate. Also, here's the other thing. I really like that not everybody agrees, even from the Notre Dame end in this chat. Do you get what I'm saying? I think that's really healthy for this dynamic. That everybody in here is for Notre Dame. We want Notre Dame to be good, but we all don't agree on everything. I think that's healthy. You got some people that believe in the players more than other people. You have some people that believe in the staff more than other people. Different people have different concerns. That's healthy. That's good. And it shows that everybody's using their own brain to think about this stuff. Everybody's using their own brain to think about it. I like this. I see some talk about some of the schedule and the title I put, Scheduling Matters. And some people brought up some specific stuff about that we're going to go over. Also, you guys, that they put out the playoff format, the actual days and times and the TV, where it's going to be on TV and all that. Oh, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, there's going to be unintended negative consequences somewhere with all this. I don't think you can make this big of a change to the sport and not have there be some sort of like negative consequence. But I'm telling you, I got excited when I saw that schedule because everybody's going to care about every single game. That first round Saturday with 3 heavy hitting playoff games all in a row is going to be amazing. And so I have some specific thoughts about that I wanted to go over too. Eric, what up, John? All the way from Toledo. What's going on in Toledo? Ooh, too many Ohio State people out that way. Sean Hunter, we are ND. Blyberg. He keeps calling me Johnny 3-star because he knows it bothers me. Like, I'm just telling you, every morning he puts in there, what's going on, Johnny 3-star, just because he knows that it bothers me. All right, let's get this out of the way. We're just going to do it. We're going to do it now, and we're going to get it out of the way. I'm going to get it out of my system. My White Sox have now lost 14 games in a row, and they lost by a dozen runs at home last night to the barely 500 Boston Red Sox. It's almost funny at this point, you guys. It's almost funny. I watch and I laugh. We're in the territory where you have position players pitching late in the game because you're losing by 80, and then the dumb home fans that are stupid are like, yeah, the right fielder's pitching, throwing 40 miles an hour, and he got an out. Yeah, man. You don't realize how humiliating that makes us look. You're sitting there cheering the fact that you're an embarrassment to the sport. I don't understand these people. How do you go to these games at all? How do you go to them at all when you're in the position you're in? And how could you be, I don't have it in me to encourage our embarrassment and cheer about it. Like when you have a position pitcher pitching because you're losing by a dozen and everybody's standing and clapping and laughing, you're missing the whole point of everything. I'm telling you, you're missing the entire point of what this is all about. One, no one should ever go to a White Sox game until the owner dies and or sells the team, whichever comes first, and the other one will come after. No one should go. It's not fun. It's not anything. You should not give them $1 of your money till they take baseball seriously. No one should go. It's insulting. This is Chicago, the third biggest sports market in America. Look what I get. No one should go. Oh, John, I got free seats. Three rows behind the dugout. Who cares? Shove them. Roll them up and smoke them. No one should go to a Sox game again. And then to cheer the fact that you're getting blown out at home. It's everything wrong with everything about this. I can't handle it, and I'm done. Phil says, go to the north side. Oh, what do I have, a bachelorette party to go to? That's the other thing that pisses me off. You could drop any random baseball team in Wrigleyville and it'll be a hit. I don't understand what people don't get. The neighborhood is why that place is popping all the time. It ain't their baseball history. You could drop any team in the world in Wrigleyville in that spot and it'll fill up. Turns out people like to party and drink and eat around the ballpark. Bachelorette Park Central. Wow. Look at the loyal Cubs fans. 20 drunk frat guys in a wedding party. Woo. They're there. I'm sure they're keeping the book in the stands, making sure. Give me a break. It's Party Central there. That's the appeal. And then once every 100 years, they're good at baseball. I'll give them that. On the south side, you're behind a highway where 80 shootings take place per day in a rail yard. You only go to see baseball. Johnny hates fun, apparently. It's not the fun. It's conflating the fun with loyalty to baseball. Get it right, JJ's jeans. It isn't the fun. It's my whole life I've had to hear how Sox fans don't show up, and look at how many people are at Wrigleyville. I'm for the fun. I lived in that area. I enjoyed that fun, but call it what it is. Life fun, not baseball diehard. That's the problem I have. It ain't the fun. It's the disingenuous nature of why people fill up that ballpark every day. If you didn't have a neighborhood full of bars and women and fun and music and drinking and everything, it wouldn't be that way. Unbelievable. All right. I'm done with them. I can only handle... You guys, there's only 2 teams I care about in my life that make me feel anything. And it's Notre Dame and it's the White Sox. And you ruined my summer. 14 losses in a row. Shoeless John Jackson. There you go. Shoeless John Kennedy. Oh, it's rough, man. It's really rough. John doesn't like to party, I guess. What part are you guys not understanding? I'm all about the party. But you're lying when you say all those people care about baseball. Half the time I'm there, nobody's even looking at the game. They're looking at their phone. They're drinking. It ain't for the baseball. All right, I'm done. I'm done with them, but a bunch of people mentioned it just to piss me off. I'm done. I'm over it. I'm insulted beyond belief. I'm hurt. I hate it. I hate it, man. I hate it so much. It's so bad. All right. Let's get into this. Let me do my intro. We got a couple calls. We'll bring them up. Dr. John wants to get in and out, and my main man, Martinez. Let's see what's going on. But dude, you know how it is. If you're from this area, man, I mean, in our family, it was you're rooting for the White Sox and whoever's playing the Cubs. That's just the way it is. That's who you're rooting for. The Sox and whoever's in town to play the Cubs. That's who you're rooting for. My baseball takes are spot on. I've had this Cubs argument my whole life. I'm so sick of that North Side arrogance, just the whole theme of it. That all those people that want to drink, and I'm supposed to believe they all love baseball. I've been to a lot of Cubs games in my life. Those people are not paying attention. There's 15% that actually care. The rest are there to party. I don't care. Tell me I'm wrong. Lived it my whole life. I did go to the World Series. What was it? Game 3 at Wrigley. I did go to that game. Not to support the Cubs. I would never do that. I did it for baseball history, and that was cool. I will say that. It was really, really cool to be able to go to that game there and see the history. It had nothing. I didn't root for the Cubs, but I wanted to experience baseball history. That was a baseball crowd, you guys. You know what I noticed when I went to that World Series game? No line in the bathroom, nobody drinking beer even. Everyone was too nervous, standing the whole time, almost like quiet because their anxiety got them. That was the real Cubs fans. People that got in there was nobody drinking, no line in the bath. It wasn't about that. That was about baseball. Very different feel than a Friday day game in June when everybody's drinking. Oh, God. You guys are funny, man. You guys are funny. All right. Thanks for being here. Obviously, you can find the program on YouTube. Do hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate John Bartman. Of course, that guy's a Notre Dame grad, too. That's the other thing. You remember when that happened and it was a big deal and everybody's going, who is that nerd over here that stole that ball from Moises Alou over the fence? This dork with a dork turtleneck and his little Walkman and his nerd glasses. Oh, and everybody hates this guy. Sure enough, you wake up the next day and they go, we found out who he is and he's a Notre Dame grad. Come on. Like, what are the odds that ball lands and it becomes a national story and he's a Notre Dame guy? Like, dude. It didn't do much to help our image. That's for sure. This dork sitting there with his turtleneck. I got my Walkman on. I'm just here to see the Cubs win. Oh, the ball. I don't even think Bartman was the first guy whose hand touched it, but everybody wanted to run him out of town, man. I'm like, dude, it's just so, it's messed up. It's messed up. John sold lemonade as a child in the summers on the O Block. Yeah, I'm a Southside G, that's for sure. I'm a Southside G. Oh, unbelievable. I've told this story before. One of the last Sox games I left to, a lady 2 cars ahead of me, shot on the off-ramp and gone. And I get home on the news and they go, lady in white car, substitute teacher from the suburbs caught a stray on the Dan Ryan. And they show the car and it was that car I was right behind in the ditch. I'm not saying it's safe, but it's Southside baseball. And I used to love it. Email's alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Will my phone connect today? Who's betting? Probably not. I might have to call you back again. Audio only, anywhere you want it. You can get it if you don't want to see John's face. Nobody blames you for that. Not even John himself. I don't want to see my face half the time. Imagine all the content I do. I'm always looking at myself. No wonder I'm messed up. Patreon.com/alwaysirish. It's the former captain. It's the leading tackler. It's Mike Goolsby breaking it all down. We have a good time over there, man. We take a topic you have on YouTube and you dig 8 layers deep. You get into all the nuance. It's fun over there. I enjoy it. We have a good group. All right. Couple super chats real quick, and then we'll bring it to the phone line, see where you guys are at. I'm happy to go wherever you want to go. But thanks for getting me all worked up with the baseball. I knew it was going to happen. When you're that embarrassing and you're that bad. Unbelievable. $20 holler. John, nobody wants to watch or play a playoff game when it's dark, cold, snowy, and or raining. This dynamic makes for terrible football. I would like to play in that. I would like to watch and us play in that environment. Like, to an extent, you got to make a calculation. How miserable of the weather is here's my honest answer on this, you guys. And I've thought about this a lot since seeing that format come out. Here's my thought. Tell me if you agree. I'm all for this cold snow home playoff game in the afternoon or the evening when the sun's going out. I'm all for that. Okay. I'm all for that. Unless Notre Dame makes a calculation where there's a line where the conditions get so cold and miserable, it takes away whatever perceived or practical advantage we have playing in cold conditions over a warm weather team or whatever. There's got to be a line to where that advantage starts to go away, where like your hands are so frozen, you're a human, you just can't hold on to the ball or have any touch to do. Do you get what I'm saying? And like, I'm all for that cold scene of us having the advantage over a warm weather team at home up to that line. Whatever that line is of wind chill or cold or like moisture on the ground. I don't know what that line is. But I'm all about us having that moment and having that advantage. If Notre Dame decides it's a tipping point where it hurts them too, then that's a little different. I don't know that calculation. I don't know how Notre Dame's going to look at it. But my inclination is, however uncomfortable any specific weather conditions would be for our guys, almost any other team out of the Midwest is not going to like it. And it's going to be a problem and a bigger one for them than us. That's the whole idea, right? Is that you're catching a team in a situation they're not used to, and it throws them off their game, either in preparation, in mentality, whatever it is. You ever see, if you're at a cold Notre Dame home game, before the game, when you look down at the sidelines and the other team are adding those like the robbery masks where you put them over your head and it goes over your neck and it goes over your mouth, under your helmet, and it covers you up. And these guys, they got those jet engines and they're sitting there getting their hands under it like a barrel of garbage for homeless guys under a viaduct. Everybody's gathering around, warming up. That's how you know you got a team and you haven't even kicked off yet. Give me that in the playoff. Give me it in the playoff. Oh, no, you're going to be cold. Who cares? I don't see anybody, I don't see anybody going, you know what we can't do? How come I never hear this? How come in my 40 years of life on this miserable planet, how come I've never once heard anyone say, you know what we need to do? The Packers have a home game and we need to move it in a dome so everybody's more comfortable in December and January. What? I don't understand. What's the difference? What is the difference? I don't know what's going on today, but if this is what the White Sox thing started, you guys lit the wick. Now you're going to deal with the consequences as it burns down. I've never heard anyone say, you know what we just can't do is have this playoff game at Lambeau Field because it's going to be cold and it's January in Wisconsin. I've never heard anyone say that ever in 40 years of my life. Why should it apply for a Notre Dame playoff game? Why? I don't understand it. I've never heard anyone say that ever. They say it's going to be a cold one. You better bundle up for some Packers playoff football at home. I've never heard anyone say that about that. Oh, but now that it's a Notre Dame home game, we're all going to be too cold. Oh, I'm freezing your grandma. Oh. How's grandma going to get in and out of the stadium? She's going to be cold. I don't care. Stay home, grandma. Stay home. So you got to explain to me why with this, it's a big deal. And in the NFL, you go play somewhere cold, the fans have fun, everybody leans into it. It's like, we're going to be cold today. We better drink extra warm brown liquor. Like, I don't understand why no one ever says this about the NFL, but college, all of a sudden, we gotta have a dome. Make it make sense. No one would ever suggest not having a cold playoff game at Lambeau Field because of why? Because the fans are uncomfortable? Don't get it. Don't get it. Don't understand it. Don't like it. Don't like it. Okay? You know what we're going to do then? Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start this. I don't think Notre Dame should play at Texas A&M. Can't we move it inside where there's air conditioning or something for that game? It's going to be really uncomfortable for a lot of people and the players. It's going to be late Texas heat, the last day of August. It's going to be 100 degrees plus humidity. I don't think we should play at Texas A&M. Why? The fans are going to be uncomfortable in that heat, and the players, it might affect them too. So we need to petition to move that either first thing in the morning before the sun comes up and it's cooler, or in a dome. Like, do you see how stupid it sounds? Do you see how stupid it sounds to make that complaint about weather? Why is it just the cold? I've seen people stroke out in the heat too. So I guess that's my position then. See how silly it sounds? Unbelievable. John's scared of the Texas A&M heat. I'm not scared of nothing. I love the heat. Sweating's good for you. How do you think I stay so skinny? I sweat out the calories. I'm not afraid of the weather. I'm making a point that extreme weather is on both sides. And I don't hear anybody saying you can't have that game at Texas A&M in the heat. But you suggest a cold Notre Dame playoff game and it's the end of the world. What's that kids movie, The Ice Age, where there's one of them woolly mammoths or whatever running around? I do remember, I'm going to the calls, I promise. I do remember. Johnny, glad to hear Rubio's back. Oh my God. I'm not even saying the rest of that. And if I would have saw it, I wouldn't have put it up. I'm not trying to trigger that. Stay away from the politics. I got enough problems here. I got enough problems here without dropping the politics in the middle of it. Nikki Dean loves to be heard and seen. $5 holler. $5 holler for the Commander. I'm telling you what, the Commander's been on it so far. The Commanders actually the last few days made some really good points. Going on? What is going on with this internet? Bro, as much as the Commander likes to be rambunctious and give me a hard time, he's actually had some really good points this week that I totally agree with about Notre Dame's mentality, about attitude, about the team having the right mindset to do what we need him to do. Commander's kind of been on it this week. I'm not going to lie. Oh, it's good to see Crying Belly here. It's really good to see. Extreme hot weather does not affect the play of the game as much as the cold and the snow. Who cares? That's my point, though, Eric. Who cares? It should be an advantage for you no matter what. If it sucks for both teams and you're used to it, it should suck for you less. Right? It's all about finding any leverage over the other team. That's what it's all about. Even if I agreed with you that the cold and the snow hurts more or whatever, fine. It should most definitely affect a team that doesn't play in that ever than it does us. Most of our players are not from Indiana. Right, but they live in Indiana. They practice in Indiana. They get cold and hot in Indiana. Obviously, I know they're not from Indiana, but that's their whole ecosystem. KVA was out there in slide sandals on Eddy Street in January in the snow. Come on. Come on. Don't do that to me, BVG. Why are you being like that? Don't do it. Don't do it. Good morning, Always Irish Nation. John, you got me cracking up at work. Bring on the cold, baby. $5 holler from Eric. Thank you. You know what would happen just because it's me? All right, we got a bunch of calls now. People want to talk. I'm getting my rants out of the way, and I'm giving it to you guys. Take it where you want it, so to speak. All right, here's the thing, man. You know what would happen to me? This would only happen to me. Notre Dame gets a cold weather home playoff game, and I'm on this rant about it. Watch them turn it over. Their hands are stoned. They're fumbling all over. I'm picturing a fumble rooski. The ball's bouncing around and everybody's kicking it. Notre Dame can't hold on to the ball. It's going to be like that. Wasn't it the Boston College game at home in 02 or 03 that year? We started out like 9-0 due to special teams and defense. We wore the alternate uniforms and fumbled 6 times in that ball game, and everybody was blaming the lettering on the alternate jerseys. Like, that was my senior year in high school. Lucky John. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, man. Dude, I'm telling you, extreme cold and extreme heat they both cause problems on the field. They're just vastly different problems. I'm just saying, don't give me that 11 a.m. game. That's the last thing I'm going to say. And then I'm going to calls, I promise. Last thing I'm going to say about this is, I don't want that 11 a.m. game. I don't want that 11 a.m. game. Pat, I don't know. I got to see if my people are available. Everybody's got something they might have to do, could have to do. We'll see. I don't want that 11 a.m. game. It just bothers me. Even though it's a playoff game, even if it's a playoff game and you got it at home, 11 a.m. doesn't fit that for me. Does it fit it for you to be 11 my time, 12, whatever Indiana time? I don't like that. This ain't Northwestern Rutgers on the Big Ten Network at 11. That ain't this. It ain't this. So I just kind of hope that doesn't happen. It would kill that vibe for me. If it's on that Saturday, and there's a 3-game window, don't be putting us in that 11 a.m. This is not Northwestern Rutgers. Get it off your TV and let the big boys play all afternoon. That ain't this. That ain't this. John, that's how we be looking when you cancel a Saturday night show. John's got somewhere to be, something to do. I know. I'm trying to get back at it tomorrow, actually. We're going to see how that goes. I'm going to attempt to go live tomorrow night so you could be there. You could be there. All right, let's see what we got. Dr. John, do I have you or am I going to have to call you again? It's only his phone. I'm telling you, everybody else's works. I don't understand how his phones got reversed.
I don't know what's going on with this, John.
Don't worry about it. It actually is working out fine. When it happens, I just flip it the other way and call you right back and you're on the air. We're all good, brother. Do I got you? Where'd you go? Where did you go? That is not my phone line doing that. But maybe it is. Let's test my main man, Martinez. What up, bro?
Hey, Johnny, what's up, buddy? It's Friday. Yeah.
Dude, I'm all worked up today. Putting you on the air is not going to help that. Dr. John, call me back. Something happened, man. My phones are working, so I don't know what's going on. Yeah, collect call from the local Idaho prison system. It's Dr. John. Do you accept or not? Dr. John, call me back and I'll try and get you up. Dude, you're just going to work me up more. I know how you are, but I'm all worked up about all this stuff. What do you think, man? Friday fun day, baby.
Oh, yeah, man. Let me tell you something. I'm actually picking up some paint for a job I got to get done right across the street from Dr. John's lingerie and novelty boutique store.
Oh,
Open
yeah.
24 hours.
Oh, 24 hours. You got to get those truckers in there at 3 a.m. off that highway, baby. The Lion's Den. Dr. John owns a bunch of Lion's Dens. Maybe it's that.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But, no, man, the schedule, first of all, the schedule for the regular season, that kind of bummed me out, man, because it's like, what am I going to do with the rest of my day after I watch football? You know, I kind of like the later games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
it gives you a build up.
I can work out for the day, you know, and then I get home and, you know, grab whatever I'm going to eat and sit down and watch Notre Dame and don't let nobody bother me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, what we got, like 5-1-30 games or something?
Yeah. And you know, the other thing is, it's like, all these games feel different. There's certain games I'm open to and like the idea of it being a night game, like Ohio State last year was a natural night. But then there's other games where I don't want it to be at night because it works against us. Duke would be an example. Louisville would be an example where I don't want those games at night. Yeah. So it's just like it varies on the scenario there. So I don't know. But it's interesting, man. And Notre Dame's got to be ready. It's going to be hot in Texas A&M. I need those dudes sweating all summer, locked in that little indoor facility with no AC, with the music blasting, crowd loud. I need our guys mentally prepared for this battle. There's no excuse, my main man Martinez. You got all summer to prepare your mind for this battle and how miserable and hot and loud it's going to be. You got to overcome that. No excuses. First game of the year, you could put all your attention on that moment, and I need you to deliver, damn it.
No, yeah, 100%. He has to have them ready, man. They have to go in there. I think a few callers back. I haven't called for a while. I've been listening and kind of talking on the chats and joining what other people got to say, but Freeman has no choice but to go in there and have them ready and punch them right in the mouth. Like, shut that crowd up. Like, they got to take that crowd out right away. It's like what you said. Louisville was their Super Bowl. Duke was their Super Bowl, but we're going right into, you know, Texas A&M, and you know, you got Elko. Elko's great. You know, I'm an Elko fan because when he was at ND, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I'm not rooting for him. You know what I mean. The rest of the
yeah, I do know what you mean, dude. You know what though about Elko? Elko's one of the few people I have no reason to hate. I have reasons to be mad at everybody in college football. I can't find a reason to not like that guy. He's a really good guy and a great coach, and I have no reason to hate him, and that bothers me. Usually I got a reason to hate everybody, but I have nothing on that guy.
No, right? He seems very, very class act, very likable. You know what I mean? So
yep.
Like that's the way I feel about Dabo Swinney too. You know what I mean? But Dabo goes on his rants, but he's beat the ACC.
Hey, by the way, wait, Martinez. Have you seen what Dabo's taken a little heat for this week? Apparently he was sitting like on a show with the recruit or something, and they were talking about how good the recruit is, but he didn't know the guy's name. And it was like, he's like, this guy right here, really good. We're glad we got him or whatever. But he didn't know the recruit's name or forgot it. And he's taken a lot of heat for it. And I don't know if it's fair or not. I didn't see the full interaction, but they were like, dude, Dabo, you can't like pump up a guy, say how good he is, and not know who he is.
Oh, wow. No way. Really?
Yeah. I just think it's funny. Like, it's just, if you could imagine Kelly doing something like that, what would happen? The whole world would end. It's just wild.
Yeah, Kelly wouldn't care. He was so arrogant. He wouldn't care. Man, Dabo's got to get it together down there. But no, but back to the schedule, you know, like I said, it kind of bums me out that they're early, but you know what I mean? it gives us time, like when we go out there from Alabama, Ohio, for us to get in early and hang out afterwards, man, have a good time. So I'm really pumped about that, man. And the playoff schedule, I'm just hoping that, like I said, I think that our element with that cold weather that you guys have up there, because that cold wind that blows through, man, and you get a team from somewhere, from the south or whatever that is not used to playing in that cold weather, that it's going to be a deciding factor, man. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, listen, dude, I do understand there's a line you don't want to cross to where it's so unbearable. You lose whatever perceived advantage you have. I understand there's a line there, but the other thing is those decisions are going to have to be made sooner than that. Like, you're not going to be able to totally predict that there's like a cold front coming through by the time this game has to be scheduled. So I don't know how it's going to go. And then what do you think about this? Jonathan, good to have you. Thank you. He says if Notre Dame goes undefeated, they would get the 12 p.m. game because the first Saturday will probably be 5 versus 12. And the media probably thinks not that many people will watch it. So if Notre Dame's the 5 and hosts at 12 and it's a group of 5 team or whatever, would that impact it? Or do you say Notre Dame's hosting a playoff game in Notre Dame Stadium, no matter who it's against, it's going to do big numbers and then flex it somewhere else? I have no idea. I have no idea how this is going to go, but I hope we're in that problem because it means Notre Dame's hosting a playoff game, and I am not taking that for granted. That's the number one goal, is to host that round one game. I don't want to not mention that.
No, I think that'd be an advantage for Notre Dame because, the fan base is huge. Like I tell you, when I went to watch them at in Las Vegas against BYU in 22 for the Shamrock Series, I was nervous because, hey man, Utah, like University of Utah fans and BYU fans, they travel really well. But I didn't realize that our fan base traveled just as well. You know what I mean? So I think if there's a home game in the first week, I think the fan base is going to turn out because, it'd be a chance to finally get to where we need to. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And now people are debating. We're debating it both ways. We're debating the cold, and we're also debating the heat down south. And Kent saying, I think he said he's in Georgia, and he's saying, you guys don't understand. Your northern hot heat is different when you come down to Florida or Texas or Georgia or somewhere in the South. I don't know, but Notre Dame's got to be ready. I'm not listening to any of this. You have all summer in camp to mentally prepare yourself for battle, and you need to know what you're walking into so nothing is a surprise. Make those elements you're practicing in worse than what it's going to be when you're there, and it'll feel like no big deal. It's game one. I am not open to hearing any excuses. We didn't have time to prepare for this, and we walked in and couldn't believe the environment. BS. It's going to be loud. It's going to be annoying. There's going to be creepy male cheerleaders in white overalls. There's going to be all sorts of stuff. It's going to be hot. You can have all sorts of struggles. You got to embrace them and prepare for them.
Let me tell you this. I see Kent coming in.
I love this dumb show, man. It's so much fun to just yell with you guys every day. I love this so much.
Yeah, I see Kent coming. Like I said, like I told him on the chat, I respect his passion. I just don't know who an Ohio State fan that waits 3 days out of their morning to troll Notre Dame fans. But I'll give it to him. He makes good points. But here's the thing, Johnny. Here's what I would argue with him on that. Heat is heat, man. Heat is heat. Like I was watching. I like to watch the rebroadcast games of Notre Dame. I can't remember who they played where it was 110 degrees down on the field. And I'm like, yeah, heat is heat, man. Like I don't feel that southern heat, that northern heat, whatever, but heat is heat, man. Like,
people are disagreeing with you. The chat is totally disagreeing with you, and all the southern people here are saying dry heat is different than that southern heat. And they're talking about the thermometer, and they're talking about the humidity levels, the dew point.
Right.
And you know what I need? I need a weatherman to call me in and tell me the realities of this. If it's 95 in Indiana and 95 in Georgia or Texas or Florida, what the differences are. I don't know, man. I don't know, but I'm not open to anything surprising you. You have all off season. This is game one. You should be fully prepared for everything.
Yeah, no, and they can disagree with all they want, but here's the thing. When I went to Florida back in February, and man, that humidity. Okay, you go there because I go from 12 degrees in Utah down to 70-something degrees in Miami, and so the heat kind of hits you. But then you're there, you're watching. It's like, hey man, heat is heat. Like when I went to Texas too, it's like, hey man, the heat is heat. Like the dry heat, I get it because we're up here in the mountains, and it's like I'm in the desert. Utah's the desert, so we're high. We got a real high elevation, so that heat really kicks in too. But here's the difference between hot and cold. In the heat, you can cool down. You can got fans. You can throw water on you. In the fucking cold, you can't put enough clothing on, man, to keep your ass warm. Yeah. Sorry, Johnny. I didn't mean to throw that F-bomb down there. But in the cold, you can't throw enough clothes on for you to be able to work comfortable, to be comfortable. Man, your hands feel like they're about to fall off. You guys know. Yeah. You guys live in the damn Midwest.
Yeah. It's, man.
So people can disagree, but, man, I've traveled all over the country in the heat, man. Heat is heat, man.
I'm just telling you, this is so funny because it's going to be a main talking point leading into this game. And my opinion on it is when it is week one, all of your focus is on it. And you could make any plan you want to try and get ready for it. Either no AC in the inside practice facility with everybody breathing, with music blaring to get ready for make it hotter in there on purpose. Like this is a battle, and Notre Dame needs to fully be prepared for this battle. And they can't go in there and be shocked by the environment. You need to control what you can control. Prepping for this is something you have more control on than people want to admit.
Exactly. I'll just end with this, John. Generally got a lot of callers. I want to get back on the chat and got to get my crews going. I always appreciate the hell out of you, man, and giving us.
Thank you, man.
Here's the thing: whether it be Kelly, whether it be Freeman, whether it be Bob Davie, fat ass wife, this is what you come to Notre Dame for. It's for moments like going to Texas A&M, like Ohio State last year, like when BYU Notre Dame Shamrock season. This is what these boys come to Notre Dame for. It is. It's the honest to God truth. This is what they come to Notre Dame for. It's for these big moments, to put on that blue and gold, man, and to represent the greatest program in all the land. Like, for real. Yeah. And I really think that, Freeman, Denbrock, and Golden are going to be doing a phenomenal job. And who's the strength coach now? Not Bayless. What's his name? The performance coach.
I'm blanking on his name. My head. I know, me too.
Right. But you know what? I met a fan out at the bowl game who knew people that knew that dude, and they spoke nothing but good about that dude, man. And so I think he's smart enough to have these young kids prepared about going into that Southern Texas heat. So,
hey, and you know what, though? You are right, though. Neither of us may be able to remember the guy's name, but I've heard nothing but good things about him so far and how the guys are reacting to him and everything going on. Everybody seems to like him and they feel like they're getting twitchier and like more in shape, whatever. Take that however you want. And, but that's the early reports, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And, like I said, Johnny,
Landau. Lauren Landau. That's the name. Yeah, good. Landau, thanks, Adam.
Landau, yes.
Thanks, Adam.
Landau.
Good reports early so far. So we'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, Johnny, like I said, thank you for always giving us a platform. And even the guys in the chat, man, really remind me of all the I'm a big South Park fan. It reminds me of all the dads on South Park. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a great time. The show's awesome, man. So
hey, thank you, dude. I appreciate you. Have a good one. Don't work too hard on a Friday, man. Get your work done and have a good weekend. And I appreciate you being a part of the show. I'm glad you found me, man. Thank you.
Yeah, brother. Onward Notre Dame. We'll talk to you later.
There you go. Have a good one. Man, I love that dude. He's got I say this all the time. He's got an energy that I could get in trouble hanging out with him. There's just something about it. Here's the other thing, too. All you weatherman, Pat Skilling out there, if anybody knows that is, or whatever his name is, Tom Skilling. Yeah, Tom Skilling. Let me ask you this. Notre Dame's it's going to be a night game. It isn't going to be 2:30 at peak Texas heat. Does that make you feel any better about it? Like, I don't know. Do I look like a cowboy living in Texas? Yeehaw! I don't know what it's going to be like in Texas at 6:37 at night. By that time in the evening, is it starting to cool down a little bit to where it knocks that edge off? Is that the deal or what? John, peak Texas heat, it's around 4 and 5. Okay, so then are we on the backside of that? And then the sun starts to go down and then it's not an issue anymore? I'm just telling you. I'm not open to the argument. I'm not handling it. Like, if this goes bad and Notre Dame can't play, and what's the excuse going to be? You're sweating too much? Bro, this is big time college football. You can't use that as no excuse. Prepare yourself. Bake these guys in that indoor facility in August. Get in there, close the doors, crank the music, and let everybody sweat and breathe in there and create a heat factory. I want it like the damn Amazon rainforest in there. I want to start seeing frogs in the Amazon. I'm telling you, let that baby bake like an incubator so that when you get off that plane, you're going, oh, this ain't nothing. This ain't nothing. I mean, baby, this can't be like Vietnam. Like, literally, it can't be like Vietnam. Every single one of those Vietnam vets, when you look at them and they're interviewed, which, by the way, everyone should do that on YouTube once in a while. There's all these series about finding just a random guy who survived Vietnam, and they interview him about his experience in the war and in Vietnam. Every one of them says, you get that plane comes in or whatever, and you're landing the first time into Vietnam, and they open that door and it hits you. And they all say there's nothing that could prepare you for those sights, smells, and the heat. And like, it's overwhelming. And then you realize, oh boy, we ain't in America no more. This is a different deal. Every single one of those guys said it hit them like a wall the second they land there. This ain't that. It ain't that. Prepare for it. Prepare for it. Like, Mark's figured out the best way to solve this entire issue, and it is the old soccer mom trick. It's like, everybody gets an icy cold Capri Sun and some orange slices, and here's a popsicle. Oh, do you want a rocket pop? The ones with the red, white, and blue flavor? And you're all... I'm just picturing our 330-pound offensive lineman sitting there eating a little popsicle when we're on defense, just trying to get cold. And I got my little popsicle. What about a freezy pop? Oh, man. Johnny, did you see Rocky Blair go back to Vietnam maps with the heat exhaustion? I'm telling you, man. Jungle living in Vietnam is not ideal. I have relatives who are there. I've heard the stories. It is not the place to be. There's a lot of natural things that get you, and there's a lot of unnatural things that get you out in those woods, man. A lot of scorpions, a lot of snakes, and a lot of the enemy, too. It's the real deal. I respect those guys, every one of them that went. $5 holler at them. Great outfit price are Texas boys. They'll let everybody know how to prepare for the heat. There you go, man. There you go. the format. 219, you're coming up. I think it might be the Commander, and he's on a roll so far this week. I got to tell you, I really don't disagree with anything the Commander said this week. So I don't know what's happening. Maybe I'm losing my mind. Maybe he's finding his, or maybe we're meeting in the middle. It was the humidity primarily. The only thing I could prepare was landing in Kuwait before heading to Iraq. The best analogy is like holding a blow dryer in your face. Yeah, there you go. Also, Bruce, thank you very much for your service to this country. Really, really appreciate you. 219, you're up on the line. Anybody else want to call? Hop on in. What's going on, brother?
That's right, John. It's Urgency Friday, my man.
Okay, now wait. One of the things you said in your chat is something about you're going to get the mentality right, or have our guys have the right vibe, or a killer instinct. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Okay, so you said you maybe had a plan to get that going. I would love to hear it, man. I'm with you on that one. I like it. Tell me how we're going to get that killer edge.
You want to? Our last conversation, we talked about becoming a savage.
Yeah.
The way you become a savage is you become one. You live it every day. Just like the great linebacker Lawrence Taylor. You know, but when he was ready, I don't know if Freeman's got that mentality within him. I haven't seen it yet. He's more laid back. But like, you know, Lawrence Taylor used to say, hey, when we come, we're a bunch of crazed dogs, and we're on a mission. And we're also going to look with you before we get there.
Yeah.
But
wait.
And we talk about these A&M defensive ends. That's what the focus is.
Let me ask this.
Study these people.
Let me ask this. How do you prepare those guys to get into that mindset? What I mean by that is that a player-driven thing where you need your player leadership to go, all right, we're going to war here. We're going to battle. We need to be in the right mind frame to go crush these guys. Is that a player-led mission? Or does the coach have to set the tone for what he wants this to be? Or is it a blend where the coach sets the tone of what he wants, and then you have your leaders grab it and make it permeate through the rest of the locker room? How do you get the attitude you're seeking? Because it's not the most natural thing for a lot of Notre Dame guys to have the Lawrence Taylor like mentality. You ain't going to get a lot of that in Notre Dame. So how do you foster that kind of intensity and desire to crush your opponent? How do you foster that?
Because your opponent is coming to take everything that you've worked for in your entire life.
Yeah.
From the coaching staff to the players, those defensive ends are coming to take everything you are. They're coming to take they want to take Freeman out. You lose week one, guess what? Freeman's probably screwed. You go out and you let the tackles get run over by these defensive ends, and they just threw their whole career away. You just wasted all, when you're a little kid and your mom and dad's driving you around, taking you to these football camps and these practices and paying that money, and it should become personal because these guys want to take that away from you.
Yeah.
They want to take your future, and, you need to study these guys on film, watch what they're doing. And more than that, become obsessed with them. Learn all about them. Find out what's their mom's name, who's their cousins, who's their dad.
Yeah.
And
who's your what?
Get in their ear.
Figure out. Slide in.
Message them.
I was gonna say, slide in their girlfriend's DMs before you head to town. Like, do whatever you got to do to mess with these guys.
Let them know, man. We're gonna whoop your ass, and then when we're done, we're gonna blow your mom's back out. And there ain't nothing you're going to be able to do about any of that. And in fact, I'm going to get her phone number, and I'm going to be in contact with her here real soon. That's how you become a savvy. You make it personal. You're taking my shit. Another man ain't going to come take what's mine.
No, you got to be able to back that up, though. That's the problem. You wouldn't want to go down. You wouldn't want to go down that path, get them all worked up, and then you don't back it up, and all you did is fire them up. If you're going down this path, you better be ready to back it up on the field if you're doing it. You better be ready.
Oh, Coach, put them in the right position. Don't set them up for failure. If you're going to throw a deep pass, those ends better be double teamed. You better have somebody helping our tackles. You better have a tight end, a back, and if you're going to go deep and you're going to drop back deep, you better have a game. You better have some help. And if you're going to if you're going to throw the short passes, ball's out in 1.5 seconds. 1,000 ball.
Yeah.
There ain't no way the guy can't get back there that quick. That's what Peyton Manning did. The ball was out. Peyton Manning got the ball out in 1.4 seconds. 1,000 ball. I don't even know if it's possible somebody get from point A to point B that fast. So there, as the coach, that's how you help them out.
Man,
put them in the right position. Get them help. And then our defense.
They better be good. Hey, listen, dude. I know
step in front of the ball.
Yes, early. Step in front of a ball early to shut them all up. Yeah, I'm with you. You've been speaking about ever since this A&M game buildup. You always bring up those defensive edges for A&M, and you're saying, John, Notre Dame fans are underestimating what they're going to have flying off the edge at our young tackles and whatever. I'm telling you, man, I'm not open to it. You know that it's coming. You have all summer to prepare. It cannot be a surprise when it happens in the moment. You have all summer to think about how to slow down those edge rushers if you feel that you may be vulnerable there due to your inexperience on the edges of the O-line. I'm not open to it being bad. You have all summer to prepare for it. You know what they're going to try and do. I need you to have an answer for it. Not in the third quarter. You need to know what they're going to do to you and prepare for it and have an answer for it right away. I have zero patience for our O-line getting worked over game one with all summer to prepare for it. No, zero patience.
Absolutely. There's got to be multiple plans. There's got to be plan A, B, C, D. You can't lose this game.
Yeah.
And you can't. And the only way I think they lose this game.
Oh, it's going to be tough.
I think our defense is the defensive end. So I think those guys, or we don't know what we're getting with Leonard. He can only throw 160 yards a game in college so far. I'm not sold on him. But even with that, I am saying, if I'm Notre Dame coaches, if Leonard wants to, make something out of nothing, I don't know that I would say go do that week one against these guys. Get the ball out. As soon as they snap the ball, you got to be passing it. They don't have a chance to get you.
And dude,
take a deep shot.
And you know what?
Guys some help.
All I hear is Jeremiah Love is like going to be Notre Dame's Swiss Army knife, multiple threat weapon. They're going to have them out running routes, whatever. Maybe that is your weapon, and that is your default go-to dump-off valve. Have a bunch of different plays
John,
do it. I like it.
Disrespecting Faison. That's our deep ball.
Yeah, but he could be the deep ball guy. But doing what you're saying, Jeremiah Love could be these little dump offs, little tunnel screens, little throws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Screens.
Yeah.
Throwing screens against these guys.
But with a block.
Don't even block them. Just throw a screen.
So I don't know, man. This is
absolutely.
I am just not open to the excuses when you have all summer to get your mind wrapped around this. Nothing can surprise you. Nothing about the toughness of this moment and the scene and the weather and the crowd. None of it could surprise you, man. You have all summer to wrap your mind around wartime, battle time. And you need to, every day, these guys need to get their minds prepared for this kind of battle. And so that when they're in it, it's not overwhelming. And they don't have that 2017 at Miami look where you could see in our coach and all the players' eyes, they were scared to death to be in the building. And they played like they were scared to death and got ran out of the building. You could see that team was not emotionally and physically prepared for battle, and it showed. This needs to be the opposite.
Yeah, it does. And it's, Freeman's the leader. He wants to change the course of.
Yep.
This is the fork in the road for Marcus Freeman,
Ooh.
for
Baby.
Jackasaw. This is make or break time for these guys. More so for the players than Coach Freeman, because he'll go on. He could go. Do bad here. And not have a great Notre Dame legacy, but he'll go get a job somewhere else. But these players, the players though, they need to take it personal, because these guys are coming to take their dreams.
Yeah, it's man. But do you think that
they're coming to take their money?
Do you really think that Notre Dame guys take it that way? That personal, like they're coming to ruin you and your family and your hopes and dreams and take your soul? I want our guys to take it that seriously. Sometimes I'm not sure they always do, and it bothers me.
Then why play the game at this level if that's not how you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, but I feel like
you're doing this because your dad told you to do it, or why are you doing it?
Sometimes I do think I see an edge played from some other teams where it's like, you need to be good at football to have a good life. At Notre Dame, you don't need to be at football to have a good life. And sometimes I see that difference between us and the way some other teams play, where it's like, if I don't succeed at football, like my family has no money. That's different. Sometimes I feel like these Notre Dame guys, things don't go well. It's easy to kind of dial it back a little bit. And you're like, well, we're not going to win a title or a playoff game, but I'm going to make a $200,000 a year salary when I'm out of here. We'll cruise through. That bothers me. I don't like that.
I don't like it either. And if that's the player's mentality, then guess what? That guy that's got the chip on his shoulder, who's serious about it and who's real about it and who is that savvy, he's going to beat you, at your own game. And guess what? Then goodbye, go on, get the next guy in. We'll find somebody. Somebody's got to have it.
Yeah, it's man.
Find somebody. Somebody's got it.
This is such a big moment. It's such a big moment, and to me,
it's huge.
When I look at this game, I think one of the best things Notre Dame could do is make a big play early, whether it's on the defensive side of the ball, or if we get the ball first, you take a time-consuming drive down the field. I want to mute and take out that crowd energy early, and the only way you do that is by making good plays early. Calm that crowd down and let them know this ain't going to be how you want it to be, and we're not doing that. You got to start out good, and Notre Dame has a rough history of playing good on the road. Even in the games we won on the road last year, we didn't start them very well. It's all got to change. If you do that down here, you're in big, big trouble.
Well, when that bus pulls up, they better be ready to go. And yeah, I want to see. Matter of fact, I'm gonna predict that somebody's taking an interception back to the house.
Ooh.
It might be Xavier. It may be Xavier Watts. If Benjamin Morrison's playing, maybe it'll be him, or maybe it'll be somebody else.
How about this? How about this?
I want to see that ball get taken out the air, and I want to see high step into the end zone, first quarter.
And when the ball's in the air, you go and get it. And when we get it, boys, that's when we go on offense. Here's the deal. Christian Gray. I'm calling it now. He's so long and lanky like an alien. I'm calling it. Christian Gray becomes a Notre Dame household name. One-handed interception, run it back, something like that. Christian Gray. That's what I'm going with. I love it. I want it. I need it.
Oh, man, what a moment that would be.
I know. I think it's his time. And if Morrison's not 100%, whatever we're doing, I'm just telling you, he's a lot longer and more athletic than anybody realizes. He's not on A&M's radar the way that Morrison is. I'm just telling you, there could be something with Christian Gray. It's in my brain already, and we're 2 months early or 3 months early, whatever the hell.
I would enjoy watching that.
I would as well.
And I want to watch it.
Me too.
I want to watch it. I want to see it.
You got to be ready for this. These guys, there's no excuses. We didn't know what we were getting into. It's the first game. You can't say we were distracted because we had to prep for Navy's triple option and we couldn't focus on. There is none of those excuses. You need to be ready. Needs to be Notre Dame's time. It needs to be Notre Dame's moment. You had a chance for one of these last year and you weren't able to take care of it. Make up for it here.
It can't be any other way.
I'm with you, man.
That's just the bottom line.
Oh, look at us, 85 days.
That's the bottom line,
bro.
Man.
85 days ahead, and look at how worked up we're getting about this moment. Literally 85 days to kick off, I believe, and look at us. I don't know whether this is awesome or pathetic or pathetically awesome. I don't know what it is that this is where we're at this point. I don't know what to make of it, bro.
A little bit of both.
I know, and I'm open to that.
I'm a little bit of both, but hey, I don't care, man. Notre Dame football, I watched it my whole life. I love it. It's entertainment for me. Everybody in my house knows when Saturday comes on, the dad's cranking the TV. Don't bother me. I don't watch the game with other people. I went to house parties and try to watch the game. And
never works.
You got some women running around distracting everybody. And, turn the TV down. Get the fuck out.
And there's always, problem is there's always people saying things I don't want to hear and I disagree with. And I want to focus on the game, but there's a lot of other distractions going. That's why I can't watch Notre Dame at a bar. There's too many distractions and things going on, and I can't react the way I want to because I'm in public. There's nothing good about watching a Notre Dame game at a bar. I can't think of one redeeming quality. John, what about celebrating if we ever win? I could do that at home. I don't need to be with a group of strangers for that. I don't know, dude.
Oh, I'm right there with you. That's how I fan.
Whatever, man.
It's Christmas.
Oh.
It's Christmas morning when Notre Dame kicks off the season.
I know. It really is. It's a big deal, man. And you only get 12 of them in a year guaranteed, and half of those at home. Everyone's a big deal. And so I don't know, man. You're right. I agree with you on a lot of this stuff. I don't know, man. It's time for the needle to move. Something in the Notre Dame calculation needs to change. I'm ready for Notre Dame to force respect. And the only way you force respect is win your big games. I'm serious. That's it. So we need to change the mentality, change the way everybody looks at Notre Dame. And you're not going to get that goodwill from anybody unless you force it. And it starts with A&M. Find a way to win it. Anything on the way out, brother? What else you got?
Like I said, they got to take it personal. This is personal. This is an attack against everything these guys have done in their life. Coaches, players. Be serious, man. Don't let them just take everything, take it personal. Study these guys. Contact them. Piss them off, whatever. And go out and just kick their ass and then go to week 2 and let's roll.
Yeah. Hey, man.
That's all I can think. That's the only thing I can think of.
I'm with you, brother. Thanks for giving me a call. Your last few calls have been good, man. I got no beef with it. You're on a roll. Keep it going this weekend.
All right, John. You be safe this weekend.
Thank you, man. Have a good one. Take care. That dude's a live wire, man. I never know what I'm going to get. I understand the weather thing has a lot of nuance. I totally get that, man. I get it. And there's people arguing there's nothing you could do to prepare for it. Other people are saying it's not that big of a deal. It's hot in Indiana too. And then people are saying that the heat is different. Even the August heat in Indiana is different than what the heat is down there. Whatever it is. You just can't claim anything was a surprise when it's game 1. The noise, there's ways to prepare for noise. Humidity, there are ways to prepare for humidity. I'm not trying to disrespect actual veterans of military action. This is its own special, unique battle. That's what this is. It is a war of physicality and attrition in our guys versus your guys, and who's going to hit harder and be able to do it longer that night. But as far as the weather, you're going to have, I would love to find an actual weatherman to be able to break down what the reality of this is likely to be from a heat, humidity standpoint, whatever it is. This cannot be an excuse you lean on to not be prepared for the moment. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. Like I'm not building in that layer. I'm just not. So you better prepare for it or whatever you need to do. But I'm not listening to, we ran out of gas in the third quarter because we're playing in Texas. It can't be Landau. You got all summer to get these guys in a position and figure out. All I hear about is the new technology and all the medical stuff. The way they have these body monitors when they're practicing, and it tells them if they're getting overheated or if they got a concussion or if it monitors their heart rate and all this stuff. Whatever. This part of it cannot be an excuse. That is my overall point. You need to prepare for this. There's a lot of people. Dude, I think Miami, forgive me if I'm wrong, I think Miami plays somebody week 1, I'm forgetting, and it's like in Miami that first weekend at like noon or something. Bro, you want to talk about roasted? You want to talk about roast there and play on August 31st in Miami at noon with all that gear on, bro? Those players are gonna end up looking like pieces of beef jerky by the end of the game. You're gonna have a helmet, their outfit, and then their limbs and everything gonna look like beef jerky, man, all melted, shriveled up, bro. I don't know. So you need to be ready. You need to be ready. That's the big deal, you guys. That's the big deal. Follow me. This makes a big difference. Here's something I want to go over. And I want you guys to tell me if this is crazy or not. I expect a different level of preparedness for Notre Dame in this moment because it is game 1. And my contention is, I think that is totally fair of me. Totally fair of me. I have a higher expectation of Notre Dame's ability to effectively navigate this dynamic. Elko, the athletes on that team, the heat, the crowd, the male cheerleaders in white overalls. I expect them to be ready for this. If this game was week 3 or week 4, then you could be like, we had 3 games before this. We had to get ready for the Navy triple option and a trip to Dublin or whatever you're doing. And we have to play all these different games. And then when we get into the buildup for A&M, it's week 4. And we only have really a few days during the week to get ready and go into that game. That ain't this. That is not this. Ohio State last year. What was it? The 5th game? I think it was the 5th game. You couldn't really get into too much of like how you're going to frame that and how you're going to emotionally prepare your team and the leadership and everything for that moment and all that. You couldn't really talk too much about that because you had to win those 4 games for the 5th one to matter as much as it ended up mattering. This is not that. You have all summer to prepare for everything. It is your first game. There are no other distractions. There are no other distractions. I am not listening to any of these excuses. You can't tell me, oh my gosh, the crowd's so loud. That really threw us off. How? If that's throwing you off, you're not preparing your team for this moment. Get in that indoor practice facility, crank the volume to 12, and make our guys run the damn offense all August. You think I'm kidding? You think I'm kidding? This needs to be a retro Lou Holtz situation where Lou over-prepared you to the point where the game was easy. Saturdays were easy compared to during the week, mentally and physically. No excuses. I'm not open to it. You have all the ability to know in the world to prepare for. I'm telling you. Oh, John, the Indiana doesn't allow it. Doesn't. It's a different kind of heat. Not in that indoor facility with no AC and the doors and windows closed and 100 sweaty guys breathing on each other. There are things you could do. How serious do you want to prepare for this battle? How serious do you want to prepare for this battle? The noise, there's no excuse for that. You got a stereo system. You crank in fake crowd noise. You put music blasted on, and you make our guys run that offense all August. And you say, oh, we got these tackles and we're not sure if they're going to be prepared to play, whatever. I know. And you're going to test them all summer where they can't hear shit. No excuses. I'm done with this. No excuses. The noise, that sweat, you got the dry heaves in the heat. Do it in August. How bad do you want to win this battle? How important is it to you and everybody involved in this operation to win this battle? A big part of this game is not going to be won on August 31st. A big part of this battle is going to be won for all the preparation leading into it. All the preparation leading into it. I'm telling you, you got to run up to prepare your mind and your body for this one. Oh, John, you don't know what it's like to be a player and how bad it is and you lose 20 pounds or whatever. I know. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I know from experience and all this. I'm just saying acting like you're helpless isn't an answer. Acting like there's nothing you could do and then you show up at a big game and are overwhelmed. No, that is not going to fly. That is not going to fly. Weather, noise, environment, all the things that used to make Kelly's manhood shrivel up into his stomach. It ain't going to fly, bro. It ain't going to fly. 2017, you could look in Kelly's eyes and the team's eyes the second they showed him and know, now ready to go. Scared, intimidated, scared. No, I have no excuses. Marcus Freeman's got to figure it out. How to push the right buttons. I need Freeman to figure out. Here's the other part. I need the water boy's job's going to be important. I need you to figure out who are the player leaders on this team. Do you feel me? I believe that was an issue last year. Who were your strong player leaders that when things started to go wrong, you could like rally the troops or whatever? Who were they? And did they do a good enough job last year? I need to know who the leaders of this team are on the player angle so that Marcus Freeman can set the tone that he needs to. Landau can set it in their training and what they're doing for the. I need to know who are the leadership players on this team that can be trusted to make sure that all these guys are bought in and they're ready for this moment and they're taking it as serious as they need to. And they realize the training you do in July when nobody's watching and all your friends are drinking for the 4th of July, having a good old time, blowing their digits off with fireworks, and you're the one sweating your ass off. This game on August 31st could be won in July, in early August. Who's going to prepare? Who's mentally tough enough? Who has the leadership? This is a big deal. This is bigger than one game. Just like the Ohio State nightmare last year, my big takeaway was it wasn't just one win or loss that night. That game felt bigger, right? That's what hurt about the Ohio State game. It felt it was bigger than one win or loss on a scoreboard on a standing sheet. It felt bigger, and it carried a lot more weight, perceptual weight. Like it carried a lot. So you got to figure out a way to undo that. And the only way is winning this game. And I need you to be fully prepared. No excuses. Week one, I'm telling you, it makes a big difference to me when it's week one. You could put all your damn focus into it. There's no other distractions. Freeman can't get up there and go, yeah, I know we have. Watch. Man, you guys are being mean today. Not to me, to each other. I mean, it's a Friday fun day. Can't we all just have fun? It's not like people are going to ask, how are you preparing for Texas A&M? Blah, 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 big game. 937, I'm coming to you. Freeman can't get up there and go, oh, we can't really talk about A&M because we got Navy and we got Purdue and we have Northern Illinois and we got to get through those games and then we'll talk about A&M. You don't have any of those excuses. You have none of those excuses built in. This is the first game. It's the one you need to win. Everybody's waiting to see what you're going to do. Oh, it's game day. Everybody in America tune in and they're rooting against Notre Dame. You all understand that? It's the first game. Everybody in America is going to be excited for it, to root against Notre Dame. In that big moment, they're all going to tune in and kick off the year watching Notre Dame embarrass itself on the big stage for the 30th year in a row. Not so fast! Not this time! I'm sick of it. Decade after decade after decade, these moments we fail. Not this time. Be ready. Be more mentally prepared. Be mentally stronger. Be physically more tough. What you do in July could have an impact on August 31st. This is a wartime mentality. It's that damn important. It's that damn important. And you got to be ready. No excuses. And on that note, Kent, man, you come and go. You're like the commander, but in your own way. You know, it's just, sometimes it's totally fine. And then other times you're out to just nail people, you know, like, dude. And then you'll email me some real shit, like real life stuff. And that's the other thing you guys need to understand. I have a relationship with a lot of these people. Some of them you don't understand. It isn't just here, like real life stuff. And you don't see that, but I do. So that's why I see things a little different. And I might know somebody's smart, but they're just trolling or whatever. Yeah, Kent, I'm very mad. Notre Dame has let me down my entire life. Yes, I'm mad. How could I not be? Man. Anyways, 85 days. You guys, 85 days, bro. Like, this is our energy level. 85 days into this game. Can you imagine what's going to happen the Friday night before this game when we open up these phone lines and the game is upon us? That's what I do this show for, you guys. That's what we do all the offseason for, is chasing that unique buzz that comes the Friday night before Notre Dame plays a big game. You could feel, ooh, I got the goosebumps. You know what I'm saying. The Friday night in the early fall before Notre Dame plays a big game, there's no feeling like that in the world. Nothing can match it. Nothing can match that feeling of a Friday night before a big game. Waking up on that Saturday morning and your stomach's in knots. You're mean to your family. You don't feel like eating nothing. You find yourself pacing around the house for no reason, doing nothing. Oh, I need it back. Some of you are probably thinking, John, I just relax with my family and act like a normal person, and then I watch the game, but I don't know. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to do. Like, right? I'm not normal. And nobody should expect me to be normal. Here's the other thing, too. If you want to be mad at Kent, it's really hard. Kent, SPF, are you still in here too? SPF, the LSU guy, I believe. There he is. I have a hard time really getting mad at the people in here that are trolls, but they love another team. You got, like the other Notre Dame people in here, you got to kind of understand why I appreciate them. This isn't even their team that they love, but they want to be a part of it. And like, I expect them to troll. This isn't their team they love and follow. So when I have people like that come in here, sometimes give us a hard time, sometimes make real football thoughts. Like, it depends on the mood and the vibe and what's going on. I like that. Like, that's a compliment that people that don't like Notre Dame want to be in a Notre Dame chat. So I want to have patience with it, right? Stop eating so much cheese. Who's telling me I'm a wine and cheeser, man? We got to get the wine and cheesers out of here. Your time has passed, okay? Oh, boy. 937, what's going on a Friday? Thanks for the call. Welcome to the show.
Hey, John. It's been a long time since I've called in. Probably last time I talked was like December.
Yeah, it has been a while. Look at this. It's been a long time, man. I'm really glad to have you back. I recognize the name on the caller ID right away. It's good to have you back. Sorry you had to sit through that angry monologue. But what's on your mind on a Friday, man? You don't call that often. You could have the dance floor. What's on your mind?
Probably a week or so back, a caller called in and maybe you did an episode on it, or maybe it was mentioned in one of your just like standalone videos. He tried to say that, Elko outcoached Freeman last year when we played Duke.
Yes, I do remember that.
And, just, looking at the track record of a lot of coaches that, kind of mid-tier programs, who build them up and do really well, and then they go to a bigger program. I feel like a lot of those guys do kind of catch lightning in a bottle at where they're at. And then when they move on to the next, they get the promotion, a lot of those guys don't perform at the same level. A lot of them regress. And I'm curious what you think. Do you think Elko is going to actually be legitimate at Texas A&M, or is Texas A&M going to keep being a mid-level team in the SEC?
I think I'm a believer in Mike Elko. I really do think under his leadership, he'll keep the Jimbo lives his life, and I don't respect it. I really would be surprised if Elko doesn't build out a really, really solid situation. I just respect him as a guy that much.
now.
But it's going to take some time. That's the issue. It should take some time. Sure. It can't be instant. Like, here's where I get hung up. Oh, John, you say you respect Mike Elko and what a good coach, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but Marcus Freeman has had 3 years at his new job to figure things out. New staff, flip over the roster, do whatever he needs to do. Even though I respect Mike Elko a ton, he is in game 1, week 1, and there is a lot of moving parts and variants and unknowns in that, no matter how much I respect the man. The pressure's on Freeman and Notre Dame to get this win, period.
And I do want to say that caller, you know, he said that, you know, due kind of, you know, far inferior roster. And, you know, while I agree that Notre Dame had more talent in that game, we did take 2 of their players and add them as starters on our team for this year. And they did have several guys go to the NFL. So, you know, to say that there was a huge discrepancy, I don't know about that. We did have more talent, but
let me ask you this. I want to ask you a question, and I want you to tell me, I don't know how to process this information. Okay. Texas A&M lost 30 guys in the portal, and they gained back 28 that came back the other way. In my Notre Dame world, that seems like a lot. Like, how do you, is there even enough time when you got 30 guys coming and going and you're figuring out who could do what role? You're navigating different personalities. Pat, as work calls, he's leaving. Have a good weekend. Pat, you too, man. Take care, buddy. I hope your wife's feeling better with her injury situation and everything. Have a good weekend, buddy. I'll text you later about the other golf and everything, Pat. So he's got 30 guys going out, 28 coming back in. It's a lot of moving parts and figuring out roles and figuring out personalities, who could do what. That's just a lot for even a really, really good coach. I feel like week 1, that's the time to get them. They got a lot of moving parts.
Well, I think in general, I don't think we've seen a team, you can correct, I think we've seen a team that has overhauled, it's like what, that's going to be like half their roster or almost 30% of their roster. There's like 80 guys on a team.
Yeah, I think it's 85? 85 Scotleys. I'm just saying there's a lot of moving parts here for week 1.
So I'm just saying almost a third of your team is brand new, okay? And I don't think we've seen that play out in a elite fashion, right? I don't think any of the elite teams have overhauled, you know, a third of their team and done really good that year.
Yeah.
So and also, but to me, it does depend a little bit on, you know, if Elko, as you kind of alluded to, is more of a culture change for Texas A&M, you know, is he bringing these guys in as part of a culture change, you know, as part of like, is he specifically picking them, or is he filling gaps? Because like, you also, it's like, look, you just had 30 guys leave, right? You know, are you just desperate to get bodies? There's a lot of things that go into all of this.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of questions there, but I think in general, it's a bad sign for a team to be good right away.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. When you're looking at this 2-year dynamic, even though this game is on the road and we've been debating that environment all morning, yeah, I think Notre Dame's chances to catch A&M in terms of gameplay on the field are going to be a lot better this year than the next year, even though it's at home. You give Elko a full year to be able to figure out where he's at, what he needs, get things more organized. They should be significantly better in their second year than they are game 1, year 1. You got, damn it, Freeman, you need to figure out a way. You need to figure out a way to leave Texas with that win, baby.
Also, don't, you know, don't overestimate or don't underestimate the influence of a poor regime at the higher levels. What have we been complaining with Notre Dame? I mean, it took Notre Dame, we kept Tommy Reese around, right? Which wasn't Marcus's guy. Then we tried to get the Utah OC, and that didn't go down. Yeah. So we had to just default to somebody else. It took us 3 years for the powers that be at Notre Dame to get us an OC that I think everybody can appreciate. And so just because Elko walks in the door, I don't know if he has all the coaches that he would want on staff right away. And I don't know the powers that be, they've done a poor job for several years, and so for at least several years. And so it's just like, well, how willing are they just to flip a switch for the new guy? Yeah. Because we've experienced that on our end, it's not to be the case. So,
man, there's a lot of moving parts in this equation. When it all comes down to me, I'm defaulting to Marcus Freeman is in his third year. A lot has changed, and we feel good about that staff now. And a lot of the expectation is that you figure out a way to win it. It doesn't need to be the prettiest looking thing in the world. You need to figure out a way to claw and scrape out a win here. Then life will settle down for us and be a little more normal for Northern and Purdue and Miami leading back into Louisville. It doesn't even need to be pretty, but you need to fight and claw and scratch out a win no matter what. No excuses. No excuses this time.
Now, I do want to say, if we get a win, and whether it's by 1 point or by 30, what I don't want the fan base to do is kind of what, do you remember Penn State 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago, went down to Auburn and beat them like a drum. And Auburn was like ranked in the teens, I think. And they kind of, got all high and mighty that, the Big Ten went down and smacked the SEC team. Well, it turned out Auburn wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm saying there's a really good chance that while, I don't want to downgrade a win against, anybody, especially when they haven't had a loss yet. I always think it's tougher to put that first loss on a team because they still have hope.
Yeah.
And that means a lot. But look, we could go down there and it could, bubble up that like we are a really good team and they're a mediocre team. And that's just the way it is. And we get an easy win. But I don't want us to think that we are something more just because we beat a middle-of-the-road SEC team, which is probably what Texas A&M is going to be. Let's just be real.
I understand what you're
that's
saying.
What they're probably going to be.
But if that's the problem I have to deal with is debating the perception of the quality of that win, I will sign up for that problem any day of my life over why did you lose? Like, I don't care what's going to be said about that win or how much it's valued. For Notre Dame in our own little vacuum, it is everything. And I don't care if they end up being bad or not. It's week one and nobody knows it yet. Start them down the bad track. Jumpstart that bad track.
I can envision we go down there and we win by 3-4 scores. People are going to be saying, oh, man, we're going to win a national championship this year. This is the team. And win let's win the next game. Let's win the next game, kind of thing. So I think in the grand scheme of things, like the reality of it is that Texas A&M is probably going to be a middle of the road SEC team.
Yeah.
By the end of the year. Okay. And so it's not going to be, I think, the caliber of win or loss that I think some people might play it out.
Right. But that's why the week one thing's such a big deal, because there's all the buildup and no other evidence yet of how anybody is. That's why that is so unique, because you don't have anybody of work. And so it's really Oh, it's going to be interesting.
Well, what's your opinion? What's your opinion on this? I'm actually kind of happy that it's a big time prime time game because it doesn't allow any doubt that this is a meaningful game. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean that's for sure. That's for sure. And you also need to understand though, my original thought was you could have done Georgia Clemson for game day. But it's the next day. It's not Saturday, and they're not going to do that for like the Sunday game on the holiday weekend. So that would have been my original thought. And then you have USC LSU is actually on the holiday, isn't it? The Monday. So then that makes perfect sense that Notre Dame would get it. And then maybe you could get it again for hosting Florida State in November, although I believe that might be Alabama LSU night. So then maybe that alters that. See how both of those teams do. But this being week one, it's the tone setter, baby. It's the tone setter.
Right. It is. And I got a question about our schedule for you. How our schedule sets up is, we have a couple of light games before we play Louisville.
Yeah.
And then we play Florida State after they've gone into their ACC schedule a little bit. That's later on in the year. And then we play USC at the very end of the year after they've, had to, go through the Big Ten schedule. And my question is that if, like, Florida State, if they're a little banged up and maybe they aren't who everybody thought they were, has a loss, maybe 2 losses, and then the same thing for USC. I mean, let's just say USC, got 7 wins by the end of the season, and they're all banged up. Their defense is still horrible, and we do go undefeated. And we don't really have a quality win. How do you feel about that?
Great. I feel great. I feel great because it isn't my problem. I can't make Florida State be better at football. I can't make USC put it all together. All you can do is your part. And what's going to be annoying is you're going to hear Notre Dame don't play nobody, blah, 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 but it's not going to practically matter. They could say that all they want while we're sitting pretty in the playoff. Like at that point, even if our schedule falls apart quality-wise, it isn't going to keep Notre Dame out of this new playoff if they take care of business. So you're going to get annoyed listening to it. I can't make Florida State be better. I can't make Texas A&M not spend dumb oil money and not have it work out. Like, not my problem. Yeah. You got to take care of business. And then when you get in the playoff, prove you didn't just get there by skating through that schedule. That's my thought.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Last question. Oh, yeah.
Notre Dame don't play nobody. I can hear it already, man. I can hear it already.
I know you get irritated with Penn State always getting a high ranking. I think
I never get irritated. I never get irritated.
And never get irritated. Penn State, is like ranked in the top 10.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have them like ranked above Notre Dame and like the mock.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. Pencil them into number 7 every year.
How does that make you feel?
Here's how it makes me feel. I don't understand. They are a media favorite every year. Pencil them into the 7 or 8 slot in all the preseason rankings. And then they turn into Notre Dame Brian Kelly era every year. Not elite recruiting, but pretty good. They win against most of the teams they should win against. And then in the biggest moments with the chance to change the national narrative, they're going to embarrass themselves every time. That is what Penn State is. Franklin Penn State is Notre Dame Brian Kelly. And it's not bad enough to make a change, but it's not good enough anybody's ever going to be happy. Rinse and repeat. They're going to do it again every year. Put them 7 or 8 every year. They're going to win 9 or 10 games. Then they're going to lose against Michigan and Ohio State and anybody that anybody cares about. And then we're going to do it again. That's my thought on Penn State.
Yeah.
So whatever,
right, John.
Go ahead and put them 7th, and then they're going to lose right when you need them to beat Michigan or Ohio State. They're going to lose by 40, and then we keep it moving. So, hey, man, We covered a lot of ground.
What does Notre Dame, in your mind, what does Notre Dame, I guess I have one more question.
Sure.
Because, this year, nobody, I think a lot of people are predicting that Notre Dame has a really good chance to make the playoffs, but obviously nobody's really talking about winning the national championship game.
Yeah.
What do you think Notre Dame has to do this year in order, to get in the conversation that they could actually win?
What a good question.
To get them.
What a really, really good question. Here's my answer. I believe Notre Dame's defense can hang. What I need is that offense to be able to better operate against the good defenses we face. That has been the big problem, where anytime we faced a real defense last year, we scored 19 points, but we averaged 39.5 overall because we pile it all up on Navy and Central. The key is going to be the defense continuing to be the backbone of the program, and the offense being able to hold their own against real defenses. If you could get them to do their part against the better teams we play, man, that changes a lot. So I need Notre Dame's offense to be able to function against real defenses. It's the big key to me.
Okay. That's an interesting answer. You're saying we need our offense to look competent against the big boy.
Do your part. Every time we play a big game, when we preview it, it's like, how can Notre Dame win? And it's always the defense needs to play great, get 5 sacks, 2 pick sixes, and then block a punt. It's never our offense just needs to be who they are and score some points. Right?
It's always been we need to score points that's not actually scored by our offense.
Exactly. And that is sick. That is not how a normal team operates. You should be able to count on your offense moving the ball even against good teams a little bit. That's what I need, baby. Hey, I really love the call. Thanks for touching base. We covered a lot of ground. I appreciate you.
All right, John. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot, bro. Have a good weekend. Man, we covered a lot of ground. I like him asking me them questions. Jacob Saylor with the $5 holler. If we play well early, we only have to deal with the noise for half the game. Beat them early, and the overall boys are quiet, though still weird. Big, big, big key in a tough road stadium environment. The best thing you could do to navigate that environment in that crowd is make plays early on offense or defense, whatever it is. We're on defense, get a 3 and out, get the ball back, the decibels go down. They want to kick it to us and see what Notre Dame's offense can do, and their crowd's going to be all loud, all those drunk Cowboys, whatever they're doing. And then you eat up 7 minutes on the first drive, and you're getting first downs, and you're moving down the field, and then the decibels come down. You gotta it cannot be understated how important it is to get off to a hot start in a hostile road game. It's the only way to shut up the drunk natives. You gotta get off to a good damn start. 260, final call of the day. $10 holler from Jay Lamont. A lot of people talk down on Leonard. His completions aren't high because he protects the ball. He didn't have no wideouts between Calhoun and a top 10 QB. Here's the other issue. The other issue is their offensive line was not good. And that's another issue you had is he didn't have really good protection and running lanes or much of anything. A lot of what he had to do kind of on him doing it. There wasn't a lot of help, and that's an issue too. The Duke of South Bend. What's going on, 260?
What's up, John?
What's going on, buddy? What's on your mind? A lot of energy on this week's shows. I don't know why, but people are getting worked up. I'd love to know where your mind's at.
Another tidbit, I talked to somebody that is close to the Connor Wagman camp and said his rehab went well.
Dude, I'm having trouble hearing you, man. You're a little fuzzy. I can't quite make out what you're saying. I don't know why. It's just kind of fuzzy.
Hold on 1 sec.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, it is better actually. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, perfect.
I talked to somebody in the Connor Wagman camp, and they said his rehab went well. He's been throwing the ball well, so I would expect him to be 100% healthy coming off of the broken heel from last year.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, man, isn't it? He did pretty well early against some lower competition, then was out for the rest of the year. But he's on a lot of like dark horse Heisman contender, could come out of nowhere and have a good year, kind of out of sight, out of mind because he was out last year. What do you make of it?
From what I've talked to on some of the people that know him and have seen him throw down there, they are not shocked by the predictable him being on the Heisman list. I talked to a former NFL quarterback that's worked with him before, is not shocked. The biggest caveat with him is going to be how well he navigates the pocket, missing all that time. I think he's going to need to be hit a couple of times just to get that feel back. And it's going to be the same thing for Riley Leonard as well. Just getting that initial hit and seeing where you're at. So there's like you said, there's a lot of moving components. And also an interesting caveat is Marcus Freeman played for the Texans for a bit. So I think and that was before they had the indoor facility. So I think he's got a pretty good gauge on what the heat's going to be.
I like that.
Going to be down there.
Yeah, you could dip. I didn't even think of that. That's a good angle. You could go all the way back and think about what worked or didn't work for them.
And I get it. The Texans, they played in NRG at the time, and it's an indoor stadium, but it was before they had a practice bubble. But those are some of the things. And as far as you raising the questions down there, as far as the noise, see, this is something that people aren't talking about because they're going to the helmet comms. When it comes to the helmet comms, some of the coaches that I know that are at major universities that are going to be going into Mississippi State, Death Valley, they're still practicing signing plays in along with the comms. So
why?
I'm hoping.
But why would you do that if you could just get it right in your ear and avoid all that confusion? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? What am I missing?
Because, John, this is also not an unheard of concept. Some of your wide receivers, some of your skill position guys, and even some of your offensive linemen couldn't enunciate a play call, but they know what they're supposed to do based off signs. You have juniors and seniors that have never maybe heard a play call. And I know this for a fact that at a major program, and there was a couple first-round draft picks that came out of this major program at wide receiver that had no idea what the play was, and they looked over at the coach.
Really interesting. Really interesting. So, wow, yeah, that's a big difference. It would seem to me if you in 15, I did look into this. 15 seconds is the cutoff. It's really interesting. Offensively, when that play clock gets to 15, you lose the communication. So you can't do it all the way right up to the snap. But that is an interesting thing. I'm glad you brought this up. I wonder what difference that makes, that you're not yelling that in, but you might be able to just tell it right to the quarterback. I wonder what that matters or not. I don't know the answer.
Because some hand signing is going to be a big deal, because I still think teams are going to hand sign some plays in. And I just feel like, and I've talked to a couple of coaches throughout some Power 5 programs, and I said, are you guys still going to be doing hand signs? Everybody's still going to know what the signs are? And they're like, absolutely. Because when you go into Mississippi State, when they're ringing them cowbells, it don't matter if you have a helmet communication. And everybody, because it's going to be the same thing at the offensive line, because, if you run an offense that's a check with me, like the old school Kevin Wilson ran at Indiana, to where they come out to the line, hike the ball, and they hold up a card, and then the quarterback's got to call it. from the shotgun, and if you go based off the helmet comm, it's just easier for everybody to look at the sideline and know what it is.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, man, that's a whole nother element to think about here. I don't know, man. We're 85 days out, and everybody in Notre Dame land is obsessed with this first game. Do you agree with me? It's just a huge practical and perceptual moment, and there's no way to downplay it. It is as big as it feels to me for Freeman and Notre Dame. It just is. I'm sorry. Practically and perceptually, it is that big of a moment. John, you exaggerate for emotion to get clicks. What I'm telling you, on this one, it feels this damn big, man. It feels this real to me.
This is probably the biggest game in Marcus Freeman's tenure, because I don't know the exact numbers on this, John, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say if Marcus Freeman does not win this game, this could put the whole entire season in a tailspin, because this is the biggest game of the weekend. And I know you don't want to hear that.
I don't.
But this is the biggest game of that weekend. All eyes on Notre Dame, and this is crap or get off the pot for Marcus Freeman. And this is the biggest thing that he struggled with is road games. I don't know why you don't go down a week early and find a place to practice. You can practice. You can practice in Houston. It's not that far from College Station. I'm sure the Texans. I'm sure he could call up the McNair family and say, "Hey, can Notre Dame come practice here for a little bit, because they got indoor fields, they got outdoor fields." I'm sure that would be a great experience for the kids.
The other thing is,
I don't know how.
You're not going to have that, like, if you have any of that jet lag, if you fly into town the day before a game and you're dragging your legs a little bit, you would be able to get in and get settled and situated with that. I like how you're building this out. I got to tell you, I really do. You're thinking everything.
Well, I talked to a friend of mine he's a old he was a football ops guy, and then he was an SID for a while at a Power 5 school. And this is some of the things that they would do.
Man.
They would come into town early, maybe a week early, or even 2 days early, because the time zone difference isn't really that big when you think about it, because they're going from Eastern to Central. It's just an hour. At that point, I don't think that is that big of a deal, and it's going to be a night game. So it's going to be a 6:30 kick for the A&M people, 7:30 for the East Coast people. But, you know, it's just on how you want to run it, because I think if you fly in, you know, if you want to keep everything the same as is, that's fine. But then again, it's not out of Notre Dame's realm of possibility to do something completely abstract and different week one. Like they went to Ireland for Navy. Why not treat it the same way? Why not go a week early?
Man, that's
you mean to tell me
interesting.
You mean the University of Notre Dame can't find a place to practice? They're doing the Shamrock Series in New York. I just, you know, these are things that, you know, I talked to a friend of mine about, and, you know, he threw some ideas at me.
It being week one gives you a lot of flexibility. You're not locked into anything. Like, you're not locked into any scheduling before then and another game routine or anything. Like, I am open to this. And Freeman really does need to figure out what the hell's been going on the road. Why we have not been ready to play on the road. Even the road games we win last year, we weren't looking good early. He really needs to figure out why in the hell we get in these road games and look like we're not even interested in being there. That is unacceptable. And if you do that here, you could be dealing with a heat avalanche piling down on you, and I'm not here for that.
You're not wrong about the heat avalanche, John. We got I have a friend that lives down in Houston, and he works for UPS, and he grew up in the north, and he's like, it's a different kind of heat, because I even called him up and said, what do you think about this? A bunch of kids from all over across the country going down to a pressure cooker that is Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, it's a big deal. But then again, you got to remember, though, also too, John, Marcus Freeman was around when Ohio State went down to University of Texas and almost beat, the national champions that year. And I believe he was on the roster for that. So Marcus has played in Texas in the heat at the beginning of the year. So
yeah,
let's not downplay like he doesn't know what he's doing.
You got options.
It's
got options. And you know what else? Your buddy was cooking in them UPS trucks. Dude, they're a heat box when you're in there all day, man. That big box truck, you're just smoking yourself in there.
100%.
Yeah.
And also, John, this is a side note. On a scale of 1 to 10, how creepy are the white overalls? I'm going at 12. What say you?
I am not joking when I say if you're a Notre Dame fan traveling there, keep your children within arm's reach and eyesight of these people. You need to keep your kids by you and not let them wander around. They are that creepy. I do not trust them. I've said it before. One of the on-campus organizations just got busted for underage kid stuff happening. I do not trust them. This is not a joke. This isn't me trolling. This isn't like me talking shit before the game. It is dangerous. These people are not normal, and you need to protect your family and keep your kids right by you. I don't trust these people. It is that dangerous. They are creepy, and everybody needs to avoid them. Keep your head on a swivel there. I'm serious.
And I 100% agree with that. And also, John, do you want a couple of tidbits about what's going on out there and outside of Notre Dame?
I mean, well, shit, give it to me.
University of Florida, Billy Napier, everything going on there. There is a guy that I've seen. His name keeps popping up. I've been asking around. The closer and closer I get to Florida, through some of the mutual acquaintances that I know, they go airtight. His name is Marcus Castro Walker. He was in charge of NIL and player engagement. This guy, I don't know a whole bunch about him because there's not a lot out there, and everybody that I do know that knows him is not talking at all because he came from Arizona State. And they just got slapped with all kinds of sanctions and show causes. And I'm talking, Adrian Pierce, the Raiders head coach, Herm Edwards. There's a lot of people that got slapped with show causes that came out of this. So I'm just letting you know that something is there. I don't think Billy Napier survives this season. I've seen, people that have posted YouTube videos about this whole situation, and the Florida fans are coming out just like A&M fans saying they're going to be all right. They're going to win 9 games. Look at that schedule and you tell me where they're going to win 9 games. They need to put down the perennial pipe. So you have that aspect out there. And then also, I don't believe the James Franklin stuff with the doctor because the doctor won the lawsuit. I don't think that's going away. I've heard from people that are highly sourced on this that they're making a push and trying to not out and out fire James Franklin, but they're looking to get rid of him for cause, not just the firing because they do not want to pay that buyout.
Should be a bigger deal. It really is disturbing to me that this is not a bigger national story, the way he undermined this doctor and abused that system and was bullying that doctor and all that. Should be a bigger deal, and it's not because the Penn State media operates like Michigan does. If anything bad happens, they insulate it, they protect it, they bury stories, they don't want it to get out. They're all in it together. And I don't respect it.
And that's another part of this. And then also I did, my Michigan contact did give me an update that there's about 3 current head coaches, or not head coaches, but coaches in college football that are not with the Chargers that are most likely looking at show causes. And then there's also...
All right, but wait, here's my question, buddy. Here's my question. How is one of them not Sherrone Moore? You want me to believe Sherrone Moore didn't have any idea any of this shit was going on and he gets to be the head coach now? How is that guy not slapped with the show cause and he can't be the head coach? Seriously, you want me to believe that guy didn't know everything going on and benefited from it? Now he's the head coach and he's the good guy? How is he not banned? I don't get it. I don't get it.
He's on the list, is from what I've heard.
You're on the list, buddy. You're like, I'm serious. There's no way that guy didn't know about all this. It's a joke.
Because I think that this is just my opinion. The show causes that are going to come out of this, I've not asked anybody this. It's going to be probably Jesse Minter, lifetime, Sherrone Moore, lifetime, Harbaugh, lifetime.
See, the Sherrone Moore is the one that matters, right? The Sherrone Moore is the one that matters to me because it doesn't matter what you do to Harbaugh. Now he's gone and never coming back. I need whatever happens to screw them moving forward. So I need them to go, Sherrone Moore, guess what? You're not the head coach anymore. See ya.
And see, that was something that a lot of people didn't know behind the scenes. The reason why Harbaugh never signed the extension when he came back on the plane from meeting with the NFL teams is he wanted in there, if he got a show cause, he would still be the head coach. Ward Emanuel said no, but Ward Emanuel's got his own problems. He's in charge of the college football committee. He's going to get his head lopped off probably first.
Yeah.
It's just all the evidence gathering and everything going on is going to, it's taking a long time. It took them almost a year and a half on the Burger Gate, but this is something that's in the works. This is probably the biggest sports scandal since, I don't know, maybe Arizona State shaving points.
All right. So then my question is, if it's that big of a deal, are they going to tell them all the games they won were illegal and therefore the championship's invalid? Because none of this means shit if they get to keep saying they're champions. So, like, how big of a deal is it really? Are you going to take it away or put a permanent asterisk there saying everybody needs to know you could say you won, but you cheated? Like, you tell me it's that big of a deal. I need the consequences for that title to match what you're saying if it's that big of a deal. Right?
Yes. And from what I've heard, this is going to go back from 56 to possibly 40 games.
Ooh.
I do know for a fact that they have Connor Stallions and Jay Harbaugh. This is floating around out there that they purchased tickets in their own name to over 40 to 56 Big Ten games. There's cameras all over those stadiums. That's why when Harbaugh got suspended for the Penn State game, the brass at Michigan decided we're not going to try to file for a temporary restraining order because the Big Ten showed them pictures of Stallions and him holding up his iPhone. And then we still don't know who was on the sideline at Central Michigan.
Yeah, isn't that funny? That they were going to do their little investigation and then you never heard a word about it. Remember that when they were like, oh yeah, we're going to look into that. We'll get back to you. It's like 8 months later and I don't have no answers. Like I want them. I would love it if they all got hammered, but none of this means anything if they're not willing to do something with the games Michigan won. Like you could ban those coaches, but if they have a title, it's worth it. It's going to be worth it to win the title, and then they're out. So I don't know.
See, that is it's just going to take time, and that's just like Harbaugh just hired their football ops person away. So he's trying to save as many perennial people at the university as he possibly can, and this just goes to show you the Michigan logic for the people that have their heads buried in the sand, that this guy you wanted this guy so bad in order for him, after he got publicly humiliated by Ward Emanuel by getting his salary chopped in half, he turns to the utmost extreme measures to win and cheat. And then he bails and he completely has set your program back probably 10 years. Because, John, I have talked to numerous people that have worked in Division I football all the way from when this story first broke, when we heard grumblings of it, all the way through. And I asked him the same question. I said, when has one intern stood behind the head coach and offensive coordinator with a book and the defensive coordinator?
Yeah, they're busted.
Never. 100% is zero.
Yeah, you would never even know who that guy is in that position at a lot of schools. They would be in the back row, if on the sideline in the back. Everybody knows they're totally busted. Totally busted. Anything else? Any other news on the way out, man? I'm running late to get somewhere. Anything else? I love this. Somebody said you're the Adam Schefter of Notre Dame rumors and whatever, man. I love it. Anytime you get a drop like that, we'll do the music, we'll cue you up, and you can be the Adam Schefter and hit around the country and tell us all this.
I just talked to a lot of people, and also, John, another caveat on top of this is if you have any vacuum trouble, please reach out to Connor Stallions and Blake Corum. But
it is weird,
John. I emailed you that I have a huge nugget that I cannot talk about publicly.
Ooh.
But if you email me back. Because I sent you an email a couple days ago and you haven't responded. If you could email me back, and whenever you get done for the day, it'd probably be like this evening or something, that we could possibly talk about the huge nugget, because if I tell you on air, you might explode.
Oh, boy. All right. Now you piqued my interest, buddy. I'll get in touch with you. Now you piqued my interest. Is it a good or bad nugget?
Right.
Is it a good or bad nugget? If it's bad, I might not even want to know and just hope it doesn't happen. Come on, man.
Well, I'm going to tell you ahead of time to brace you for what could possibly happen.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And it has to do with a couple of different things, and also TV rights are mixed in there as well.
Interesting. All right, man. You're the Adam Schefter of the show. Thank you. I'll shoot you back on the email, man. Get you my number. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yep. All right. Have a good one.
Yep. Bro, Notre Dame Adam Schefter over here breaking all the it literally sounds just like a Schefter hit on ESPN Chicago radio, where they just hit the country and he nails 5 random dramas going on, whatever. All right, you guys, that's going to be it. Thanks for being here. Thanks for trolling. Thanks for calling. Thanks for donating. All of it. I love all this stuff. I love the back and forth, and I think it's great. I'm going to try and go live tomorrow night. So maybe we could do a Saturday night thing. I'm going to have to hit that guy back on email now and see what these rumors are and whatever. So we'll see. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But really appreciate all you guys here. Even you guys that follow other teams, means the world to me that you want to be here and you find this an entertaining ecosystem. Thanks to everybody. None of this would be happening. None of this would happen without you and your interest. Really appreciate it, everybody. Have a good weekend, and check me out. See you about tomorrow night. Maybe we go live. Have a good